Hey guys, my name is Donald Trump. Today I'm with a special guest, Ted DiBiase Jr.
Yeah, buddy, what's up?
Do you miss WWE?
Not gonna lie, I do miss it. But you know, I had to do what was best for me and my mental health and everything. It's a demanding schedule, a lot of traveling, a lot of bumps. Sometimes it's hard to find that work-life balance.
So you're done with wrestling?
For now, yeah, I focus on my family and my businesses. I do some occasional indie bookings here and there, but nothing regular. Different phase of my life now.
Do you have a favorite match, WWE?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I've had so many great matches over the years, but if I had to pick one, I'd say my tag team championship match with Cody Rhodes against Santino and Vladimir Kozlov. We had chemistry in the ring, but what I remember most was the crowd. They were on fire that night, and we fed off their energy.
You was in the Marine 2, you plays Joe Linwood.
Yeah, I did the Marine too. Playing Joe Linwood was a fun experience. It was a bit of a different character for me, a more action-oriented role, which I enjoyed. It's great to be a part of that project and expand my horizons beyond wrestling.
One of your favorite moment you had with your dad in a movie?
Oh man, there's so many great moments I shared with my dad, but one that stands out is from the Marine 2. There's this scene where I'm in deep trouble and my character's girlfriend comes to the rescue. It was a tense moment. And my dad, one and only $1 Million Man character, did his signature laugh. It was a small moment, but it showed that even in the most intense times, humor can make everything better.
What the hardest scene with Lara Cox?
In the Marine 2, we shot a scene where my character Joe Linwood is facing off with a tough guy named Briggs. The scene required a lot of physical interaction, like throws and fights. Lara Cox, who played my character's girlfriend, was involved in this scene as well, and she had to portray fear convincingly, which she did brilliantly. Balancing the intensity of the action with the emotional depth Laura brought to the scene was definitely a challenge, but we managed to nail it in the end.
Do you miss part of the legacy?
Yeah, I miss the legacy. Working with Cody and Randy Orton was a blast. We had a great chemistry, both in the ring and backstage. Those were some of my fondest memories from my time in WWE.
If you do come back one more time, will the team come back?
If I ever make a return to WWE for a one-off appearance, there's no doubt in my mind that the legacy reunite for one more time. The bond we formed during that time in our careers is unbreakable. It would be an absolute honor to team up with Cody and Orton once more.
John Cena versus Cody Rhodes versus Raw, October 12, 2009.
That match was a blast. It was a chaotic moment, 3 heavyweights going at it. I remember the crowd was electric that night. It was one of those fast-paced, high-energy matches that fans enjoy. I may not have won, but the experience was invaluable. Competing against John Cena and Cody Rhodes, 2 of the greats, was an absolute privilege. The intensity and energy during the match is something I'll never forget.
Or Randy Orton versus you, WWE Raw, July 6th, 2009. Slaps your father.
Man, that match with Randy Orton on July 6, 2009 was intense. We had a great feud going on and the tension was palpable. You mentioned the part where I slapped my dad. That was a pivotal moment in the storyline. It was an emotional, intense moment and it showcased the strain in our relationship. It was tough acting out that part, but it added so much depth to the storyline. The memory of that match stands out to this day.
Sin Cara versus you, SmackDown, 24.6-1.
That match with Sin Cara on June 24, 2011 was memorable, especially because we had a unique dynamic going on. As a heel, I was the villain of the story, and Sin Cara, the high-flying masked luchador, was the fan favorite. The match was more than just a physical confrontation. It was a battle of good versus evil. The crowd passionately supporting Sin Cara and booing me every time I did something underhanded. Despite the outcome, the energy in the arena that night was electrifying.
You vs. Tyson, Kid W2 is Superstars.
Oh, that match against Tyson Kidd on WWE Superstars was a blast. Tyson was such a talented wrestler and always gave me a good match. I remember that he always found innovative ways to attack me. He was so fast and agile, and it was a challenge to keep up with him. But the thing I remember most about that match wasn't the techniques or the moves. It was the crowd. They were really into the match and supported us throughout. It was a memorable moment in my career.
John Cena versus you.
Oh man, that match against John Cena, what a moment in my career. John is an absolute legend. Facing him in the ring was both intimidating and exciting. The match was intense right from the start. John is a powerhouse. He brought that same energy into the ring. Every move, every counter was executed with precision and strength. Despite giving it my all, I couldn't overcome John's unwavering resilience. He's just too good. Even though I lost, the experience was still surreal. The crowd was electric, and the adrenaline rush was unmatched.
Michael McGillicuddy versus WWE Superstars.
My match with Michael McGillicuddy on WWE Superstars on September 27, 2012 was a wild one. Michael was a promising up-and-coming wrestler, and we had a great, hard-hitting clash. The match was fast-paced and filled with high-impact moves. We both gave it our all. Sparks really flew in the ring. I remember Michael had a lot of energy and showed a lot of potential. Even though I won the match, the experience was a reminder of how competitive the wrestling business can be.
Triple H versus Legacy Handicap match Raw.
Oh, that handicap match against Triple H on August 3, 2009, that was something else. Taking on Triple H with Orton and Cody by my side, it was a testament to our unity as a group. The entire arena was electric that night. Triple H's presence, his experience, and his relentless intensity were unmatched. But we, the Legacy, we had a plan. We were determined to take him down. Working alongside Orton and Cody as a team was a unique experience. We synchronized our moves, we played to our strengths, we gave Triple H the fight of his life.
Cody Rhodes vs. You Intercontinental Championship Match Night of Champions 2011.
That IC Championship match against Cody Rhodes at Night of Champions 2011 was intense and emotional. Cody and I had a deep storyline going on, and the stakes were high. The match itself was a battle of wills. Cody was aggressive and determined to keep the title, while I was equally motivated to claim it for myself. The back and forth was intense, with both of us giving everything we had. The crowd was heavily invested in the match. The tension in the air was thick. It was a memorable moment and a significant part of our storyline at the time.
Raw Goldust vs. You.
Man, that match against Goldust on Raw was one of the most entertaining I've had. Goldust is a character like no other, and he always brought a unique energy to the ring. The match itself was a spectacle. Goldust's mind games and my intensity created a unique dynamic. We had a good chemistry in the ring that night. The crowd was thoroughly entertained. Even though the match was short, it was a memorable moment because of Goldust's charisma and my determination to win. Good times, good times.
Shawn Michaels Triple H vs. Cody Rhodes. You.
Man, oh man, teaming up with Cody against Shawn Michaels and Triple H was a dream come true. It was one of those moments where time almost stood still. The match itself was a classic. The veteran savvy of Shawn and Triple H mixed with our intensity created a fantastic dynamic in the ring. We went back and forth, each of us displaying our best moves and strategies. Even though we didn't win, the experience of being in the ring with legends like Shawn and Triple H was invaluable.
You humiliates Jinder Mahal's Justin Gabriel. You came out with a Santa Claus hat in his bag.
Oh, that moment against Jinder Mahal with Justin Gabriel was hilarious. I remember I came out wearing a Santa Claus hat and holding a big red bag. The crowd was confused and laughing, and Jinder didn't know what to think. I had planned it to throw Jinder off his game, and it worked. He was distracted and more concerned about my Santa act than his match. Meanwhile, Justin Gabriel was trying not to crack up. Eventually, Jinder focused and won the match, but it was a memorable moment for sure.
Survivor Series 2010 Daniel Bryan defends the United States Championship against you.
Survivor Series 2010, my match against Daniel Bryan for the U.S. title was an all-out battle. Daniel Bryan, he's a warrior. He's got that grit, that fighting spirit. So do I. The match was brutal. We left it all in the ring, fought like our lives depended on it. There was no room for error, no room for mercy. It was a fight to the finish, and in the end, Daniel prevailed. Despite the outcome, it was an honor to go toe-to-toe with someone like Daniel Bryan.
Do you miss holding the $1 Million Championship?
Oh man, holding the $1 Million Championship was something else. It's iconic, flashy, and just screams extravagance. I remember each time I walked into the arena with that belt, I felt like $1 million. There's something about gold and diamond that makes you feel on top of the world. But yeah, there are moments I miss that feeling, prestige, the opulence. But life moves on, and every experience brings new beginnings.
If you do come back to Wii, who's the first person called out in the ring?
If I were to make a comeback in WWE, the first person I'd call out in the ring would be none other than Randy Orton. Orton and I have a history. We've had some epic battles in the ring together. Chemistry we have is undeniable. Tension between us would be off the charts. We know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and it would make for a thrilling match. The crowd would go wild if they saw the two of us face off again.
And what type of match?
I'd personally love to have a Hell in a Cell match against Randy Orton. Those two words, Hell in a Cell, they just give me chills. It'd be a brutal, no-holds-barsticle affair. Steel cage, anything goes. It'd be the ultimate test of resilience and determination. Picture this, me and Randy inside a steel cage, the atmosphere tense, the crowd on the edge of their seats. It would be a defining moment, a match for the ages.
What was your childhood?
My childhood was a mix of fun and challenge. Growing up, my dad, who was a professional wrestler, was on the road most of the time, so I didn't have him around every day. But my mom, though, was the glue that held our family together. She was strong, supportive, and always there for me and my siblings. Wrestling was a big part of my life from a young age. I remember tagging along to the arenas with my dad and watching him in the ring. It was like living in a different world. It stoked my passion for the sport.
WWE superstars Daniel Bryan, Mark Henry vs. Tyson Kidd.
That's a classic match I remember fondly. Daniel Bryan and Mark Henry, powerhouses of the industry. And then there were Tyson Kidd and me, young hungry team looking to make a name for ourselves. The match was a blast. Daniel and Mark brought the strength and experience, while Tyson and I brought the agility and drive. The crowd was into it, and the energy in the ring was electric. We were all fighting to prove ourselves. It was a hard-hitting match with plenty of nail-biting moments. Ultimately, Tyson Kidd and I won.
Tribute to the Troops R-Truth vs. you.
Oh man, that Tribute to the Troops match against R-Truth was intense. It was a special event. The troops in the crowd were going wild. We knew we had to give our all. R-Truth is a talented wrestler with his own unique style, and he pushed me to my limits. The match was fast-paced and filled with surprises. I remember the crowd was into it from the start, cheering us on. Ultimately, I won the match, and the experience was even more meaningful because it was for such a good cause, honoring our troops.
You vs. Damian Sandow.
Oh man, that match against Fandango was a memorable one. Fandango, with his catchy entrance music, had quite the presence in the ring, but I was determined to make a statement. The match itself was fast-paced and high energy. We were both trying to outshine each other. Fandango's flashy moves and my intensity. In the end, I managed to win. The crowd's reaction made it even sweeter. The moment that showed I could hang with the best of them.
You vs. Kurt Hawkins.
That match against Kurt Hawkins was an interesting one. Kurt had a no-nonsense attitude, brought a lot of fight to the ring, but I was equally determined to come out on top. The match was filled with grit and strategy. We both had a game plan going in, and we stuck to it. Close calls and near pinfalls on both sides. In the end, I managed to get the pinfall and pick up the win. Satisfying victory, especially because it proved my resiliency.
Darren Young, Titus O'Neil, Justin Gabriel. Dark match.
That dark match with Darren Young, Titus O'Neil, Justin Gabriel, and me was a fun one. It had a unique vibe being a dark match, like anything could happen. Darren and Titus were a solid team. They knew how to click in the ring. And then there was Justin Gabriel and me trying to make a name for ourselves. The match was a high-energy affair. All four of us were moving fast and trying to outdo each other. We went back and forth with near falls and wild moves.
John Morrison vs. you.
Man, that match against John Morrison was a blast. Morrison has style, charisma, and he can move like nobody's business. But I was ready for him. The match itself was a showpiece. John was all finesse and flair, while I was power and determination. We both brought our best. The crowd was loving it. While the match was fiercely contested, John ultimately managed to get the pinfall and come out on top. A tough loss, but it only made me more determined to improve.
You vs. Matt Morgan.
My match against Matt Morgan was a battle of strength and size. Morgan is a big guy, and he uses that size to his advantage in the ring. But I wasn't about to back down. The match was a testament to physicality. We pushed each other to our limits and beyond. There were huge slams, big moves, and a lot of testosterone. Ultimately, I managed to get the win through a combination of smart strategy and brute force. It was a grueling match, but a satisfying victory.
You vs. Colt Cabana.
My match against Colt Cabana was filled with excitement and unpredictability. Colt is a character in every sense, and he brings something unique to the ring. The match itself was a bit of a crazy ride. Colt has some unexpected moves and a charismatic personality, which kept me on my toes. We were both giving it our all. Crowd was really into it. In the end, I managed to get the upper hand and score the win. It was a match that showcased both of our abilities and left the audience entertained.
You vs. Heath Slater.
Man, my match against Heath Slater was a whirlwind of fun. Heath had a certain charisma and likability that made him tough to root against, even though he was the bad guy in the story. The match itself was a chaotic affair. Heath was all over the place, and I had to use all my quick thinking to stay one step ahead. In the end, I managed to keep my cool and come out on top. It was a reminder that even the most unpredictable opponents can be beaten with strategy and resilience.
You vs. Brad Maddox.
My match against Brad Maddox was intense and unpredictable. Maddox was a wild card, and he had a knack for catching his opponents off guard. The match was a test of nerves and quick thinking. We went back and forth with near falls and close calls. I had to stay focused and adapt to Maddox's unexpected moves. In the end, I managed to score a win. It was a hard-fought victory against a determined opponent.
Uvis Hunico.
My match against Hunico was a test of strategy and resilience. Hunico was a skilled wrestler with a unique style, and he had a few tricks up his sleeve. The match was a battle of wits. Hunico tried to catch me off guard with his unexpected moves, but I had to stay focused and adapt on the fly. In the end, I managed to outmaneuver him and come out victorious. A satisfying win that showcased my determination and ability to outthink my opponents, even when they have the element of surprise on their side.
Uvis Corey Graves.
My match against Corey Graves was a battle of technique and determination. Graves was a technical wrestler. He had a lot of moves to choose from. The match itself was a back and forth affair. I had to use all my experience to counter his moves and stay one step ahead. In the end, I managed to out-wrestle him and score a hard-earned win. It was a reminder that technical skill isn't everything, and that determination and experience can prevail.
Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal Santino Marella Uves Darren Young Epico Primo Titus O'Neil 8-person tag.
Man, that 8-person tag team match was wild. Jinder, Drew, Santino, and me on one side, facing Darren, Epico, Primo, and Titus on the other. The match was a chaotic affair with 8 different personalities all crammed into one ring. Fast-paced, high-intensity battle. Alliances shifting on the fly. In the end, my team managed to come out on top, but it was a close call. The victory was sweet and a reminder of the unpredictability of the ring.
Uves is Bray Wyatt Dark Mark.
Man, that dark match between me and Bray Wyatt was a mind trip. Bray has a unique presence in the ring. He brings a creepy, unsettling energy to everything he does. The match was a psychological battle as much as a physical one. Bray's mind games were in full force, trying to throw me off my game. In the end, I managed to hold my own and get the pinfall, but it was a tough fight, both physically and mentally, an experience I won't soon forget.
Uvis Drew McIntyre.
My match against Drew McIntyre was a battle of strength and skill. Drew is a powerhouse, and he brings a lot of raw intensity to the ring. The match itself was a hard-hitting affair, both of us exchanging some heavy blows. We were both in it to win it, and there was no holding back. In the end, I managed to outmaneuver Drew and score the pinfall. It was a satisfying victory that showed my resilience and determination to come out on top, even against tough odds.
The Great Khali Visu.
My match against the Great Khali was a physical test of resilience and determination. Khali is a giant, and he uses his size and strength to his advantage in the ring. The match was a challenge of physicality. I was smaller than Khali by a mile, but I had to use my quickness and agility to make up for it. In the end, I managed to outmaneuver Khali and score the pinfall. It was a huge accomplishment, proving that size isn't everything, and that determination and skill can win out, even against a towering opponent.
Santino Marella Visu.
My match against Santino Marella was a roller coaster of fun. Santino is a character in every sense, and he's got a lot of personality in the ring. The match itself was a blast. Santino's comedic timing and wacky moves made for some entertaining moments. We both had our share of laughs while putting on a solid performance. In the end, I managed to get the pinfall, but it was a lighthearted victory, with both of us sharing a laugh after the bell. A reminder that wrestling can be fun and entertaining, even when the stakes is high.
Fuego del Sol Mike Cardio defeat Calvin Rose, Joey Abel, Monty Warbucks.
That 6-person tag team match was a blast. Fuego, Mike, and I were a cohesive unit, working together like a well-oiled machine. We took on a tough team, Calvin, Joey, and Monty, and we were determined to come out on top. With our teamwork and coordination, we managed to score a victory, showcasing our chemistry as a team and our individual skills in the ring. It was a blast, playing off each other, feeding off the energy of the crowd.
John Hennigan Visu.
My match against John Hennigan was a display of versatility and skill. Hennigan, also known as Johnny Impact or Johnny Mundo, is a talented wrestler and a great storyteller in the ring. The match itself was a showcase of our different styles and personalities. Hennigan's agility and high-flying moves were countered by my power and aggression. In the end, I managed to score the pinfall, but it was a close call, and a reminder that versatility is key in wrestling. A match that showcased both of our skills in the ring.
Openweight Grand Prix first round, you defeats Colt Cabana. Fui Openweight Grand Prix pay-per-view. St. Patrick's Gym in New York City, New York, USA.
My match against Colt Cabana in the Openweight Grand Prix first round was a tough one. We were both determined to make it to the next round. We brought everything we had to the ring. The match was a physical and emotional battle. We pushed each other to our limits, going back and forth with close calls and intense moments. In the end, I managed to get the pinfall and move on to the next round. It was a tough-fought victory that showed my resilience and determination to make it to the next level.
Wade Barrett, William Regal defeat Johnny Curtis, UWE SmackDown House Show Wembley Arena in London, England, UK.
That That tag team match against Wade Barrett and William Regal was a tough one. Barrett and Regal are a strong team, and they make for a formidable opponent. The match was a test of teamwork and strategy. I was teamed up with Johnny Curtis, and we had to work together to take down the more experienced duo of Wade and Regal. In the end, they managed to get the pinfall on us. A tough loss, but a reminder that tag team wrestling requires more than just individual skills. It takes teamwork and chemistry to succeed.
Wade Barrett defeats you WWE House Show, Cairo Stadium Complex Hall 1 in Cairo, Egyptian.
My match against Wade Barrett was a hard-hitting affair. Barrett is a solid wrestler, and he brings a lot of intensity to the ring. The match was a test of physicality and resilience. I had to fight against Wade's hard-hitting moves and his unyielding determination. In the end, Wade got the pinfall, but it was a close match, showcasing the intensity and athleticism of both wrestlers.
You defeats Leo Kruger.
My match against Leo Kruger was a battle of aggression and intensity. Kruger is a tough character, and he brings a lot of energy to the ring. The match itself was a physical test of resilience and determination. Kruger's aggressive style was matched by my own intensity. We traded blows throughout the match. In the end, I got the pinfall, but the match was not easy, showcasing the hard-hitting style of both wrestlers, intensity of the competition.
Kofi Kingston vs you.
My match against Kofi Kingston was a thrill ride. Kingston is a high-flying, all-around amazing wrestler. We both had our own styles, and it was a battle of different skills. The match was a showcase of skill and athleticism. Kingston brought his high-flying moves and his intensity, and I countered with my own power and resilience. In the end, Kingston came out on top, but it was a fast-paced, fun match, showcasing the skills of both competitors.
How meet Kristen Tynes?
I met Kristen Tynes through a mutual friend at a social event. She was sweet and kind, with a warm smile and infectious. We got talking and quickly discovered we had a lot in common. We bonded over our shared interests and love for life. Our connection was strong from the start, and we developed a close friendship that eventually turned into something more.
You and her together since October 30th, 2008 now, 2025. How do you feel?
It feels incredible to have shared my life with Kristen for over 16 years now. We've been through so much together, and our love for each other has only grown stronger with time. She's my best friend and my biggest support system, and I can't imagine life without her by my side.
Tate McKinley Dibiase, born on May 15, 2012, and a daughter named Ava Dibiase, born in 2018.
I am proud to say I have two beautiful children, Tate and Ava. Tate was born in 2012, and he's a bundle of energy and joy. He's got my love of wrestling, and he's always eager to learn new moves. Ava was born in 2018, and she's our little sunshine. She's smart and sweet. She loves to play and learn new things. Both of them bring so much love and laughter into my life.
What's your favorite snack?
My favorite snack is definitely trail mix. It's got a mix of sweetness and crunch, almonds and chocolate, and usually some dried fruit thrown in there for good measure. Guilty pleasure, but I always go back to it again and again.
Favorite food?
My favorite food has got to be a good hearty burger. I love a nice juicy burger with all the toppings. Just one of those comfort foods that never lets me down.
Favorite drink?
My favorite drink is a good old Dr. Pepper. It's got that sweet, fizzy taste that I just can't get enough of. It's fizzy, sweet, and it's perfect for when I'm thirsty but not in the mood for water.
Favorite restaurant?
My favorite restaurant is a casual Mexican place called Los Toros. It's got that authentic Mexican food that I just can't get enough of. Tacos are to die for, and the margaritas are a great pairing. It's definitely my go-to spot when I'm in the mood for some good Mexican grub.
What is your dream, please? To visit your wife and your kids?
My dream is to travel the world with my wife and kids. We've talked about it, and we're both really excited to show the kids different cultures, different places, and different people. We want to show them that there's so much more to the world than just what they know. Of course, I'll still be wrestling. I'm grateful that my family is willing to come with me for the ride.
Why the legacy broke up?
It's tough to say why exactly the legacy broke up. Sometimes things just run their course, and it was time for all of us to move on. We each had our own paths to follow, and it was just time to go our separate ways. But I have no regrets about our time together. We had some great moments, and I'll always have those memories to look back on.
What's your favorite moment? Kristen Tynes.
There are so many moments I cherish with Kristen, but if I had to choose one, it would be the day I proposed to her. It was a beautiful moment, and I'll never forget the look in her eyes when I got down on one knee. It was a mix of excitement, nerves, and pure joy. It was a day that changed everything, and it's a moment I'll always treasure in my heart. That was the start of a beautiful journey together, and I know there's many more memories to make in the future.
How got the name Ted Dibiase Jr.?
That's an interesting question. My name, Ted DiBiase Jr., was actually chosen by my father, the legendary $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase Sr. He was a giant in the wrestling wrestling world. He wanted to pass on the name and the legacy. I'm proud to carry on my father's name and continue his legacy in my own way.
What's your thoughts on Vince McMahon?
Well, Vince McMahon is a true icon in the world of wrestling. He's been the driving force behind the success of WWE for many years. His vision and dedication are unmatched. He has a passion for the business. He's always looking for new ways to entertain the fans. Of course, there have been some ups and downs over the years, but he's been a pioneer and a leader in the industry for decades.
You with Maryse confronts Johnny Knoxville.
That was a moment I'll never forget, confronting Johnny Knoxville with Maryse. It was pure chaos, and the tension in the air was palpable. Johnny Knoxville is a character, and he knows how to create chaos wherever he goes. It was a thrill to be in the ring with him, and Maryse was a great partner to have by my side. We made a great team, and we didn't back down from the challenge.
For a storyline Maryse you was dating, how did you feel?
Playing the role of Maryse's love interest was an interesting experience. We had to convincingly portray a couple on screen. It definitely had its own challenges. We had to find a balance between the chemistry and the storyline, and make sure the audience believed that we were a couple. Fun challenge, and I enjoyed working with Maryse on that storyline. It was a unique experience, and it was a chance to explore a different dynamic in the ring.
Yoshitatsu's you.
My match against Yoshitatsu was an intense one. Yoshi is an incredibly talented wrestler. He doesn't hold back. The moment we stepped into the ring together, it was a battle of skill and determination. I had to dig deep and use all my experience to keep up with his fast-paced style. In the end, I managed to get the win, but it was a hard-fought victory.
You on getting KO'd at Over the Limit 2010 source in the comments, it happened shortly after I asked R-Truth to be my new Virgil. He slapped you in the face. It completely knocked you out. You woke up in the corner and he was punching me. All I remember is asking, why are you punching me?
Man, that match against R-Truth at Over the Limit 2010 was a wild ride. It all started when I asked R-Truth to be my new Virgil, just like he was for little Jimmy. And things went south in a hurry. In the heat of the moment, R-Truth lashed out and slapped me, completely knocking me out. I came to in the corner, dazed and confused, and he was laying into me with a barrage of punches. All I could manage to say was, why are you punching me?
The $1 Million Champion you, W. Virgil, May 17, 2010.
My run as the $1 Million Champion was an exciting time, and my match at May 17, 2010 was a standout moment. I had my trusted valet Virgil by my side, adding an extra layer to the performance. It was a high-energy event, and it was the definition of drama. I remember the fans were fully invested in the match. The crowd was electric with excitement. At the end, I emerged victorious as the $1 Million Champion, retaining my title and solidifying my place at the top of the wrestling world.
What's your favorite moment you Tate McKinley DiBiase?
One of my favorite moments with Tate is when we went fishing together. It was a beautiful day, and we were out in our boat, casting our lines and enjoying the peacefulness of the water. We spent hours out there, just the two of us, talked, laughed, and told stories. And when Tate caught his first fish, the biggest one we caught that day, his face lit up with joy. It was a simple moment, but it was one I wouldn't trade for anything.
What you thought when you got interviewed with Chris Van Vliet?
Interviewing with Chris Van Vliet was an interesting experience for me. Well-known figure in the media world, and it was an honor to be interviewed by him. I remember feeling a little nervous at first, but once we started talking, it was like a conversation with an old friend. He asked me questions about my career, my family, and my thoughts on the current state of wrestling. Overall, it was an enlightening experience, and I walked away with new insights into the world of wrestling and beyond.
What's your favorite moment with Ava DiBiase?
My favorite moment with Ava was when we took a surprise trip to a theme park. She had been asking to go to the theme park for weeks, and I had secretly planned a special surprise for her. The look on her face when we arrived at the park was priceless. We went on every ride, ate too much cotton candy, and took lots of pictures. Seeing her smile and hearing her laugh made my heart swell. A special day, full of laughter and fun.
If you go to AEW, for example, who's the first person you call out and why?
If I were to go to AEW, the first person I would call out would be the reigning AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Jon Moxley. Moxley is a beast in the ring, and he's a fighter through and through. Plus, he's got a hell of a story, and I'd be intrigued to see what kind of match we could put on together.
What type of match?
Hard-hitting match. I'm all about physicality. Moxley's got the same intensity in the ring. I think a no-holds-barred match would be the most fitting one, because it's all about going all out, no holds barred. You go toe-to-toe, leaving everything in the ring. It would be a true test of strength and resilience.
You vs AEW International Champion Kenny Omega.
A match against AEW International Champion Kenny Omega would be a dream come true. Kenny's a talented wrestler, and he's known for his high-flying moves and smooth techniques. I'd bring my own set of moves, and we'd put on one hell of a show. It would be a high-octane, fast-paced match. The crowd would be electric with anticipation.
What type of match?
A steel cage match. Kenny and I are both about agility and high-flying moves, so a cage match would allow us to use all our aerial skills and acrobatic moves to their fullest potential. The cage would add an extra layer of intensity, adding another dimension to the match. We'd climb, we'd jump, and we'd fight for dominance in a cage match.
UV's Adam Cole?
A match against Adam Cole would be an intense one. Cole's quick and unpredictable, and he brings a high level of energy to the ring. He's a force to be reckoned with, and I'd be ready for the challenge. It would be a fast-paced, high-intensity match, with both of us bringing our best moves and our best game to the ring. It would be a test of speed, strength, and determination.
What type of match?
If I were to go up against Adam Cole in a Texas death match, it would be a brutal, no-holds-barred fight. In a Texas death match, there are no disqualifications, no countouts, and no submissions allowed. The only way to win is to make your opponent unable to answer a 10 count after a knockdown. The match would be intense, with both of us giving it our all.
UV's Adam Copeland?
A match against Adam Copeland, that would be a battle for the age. We're both known for our intensity and resilience, and I wouldn't give an inch. We'd go all out, and the match would be a real test of skills. It would have to be a hardcore match, with no rules, no mercy, and no quarter given. We're both stubborn and driven, and we would each refuse to give up until the last bell rang.
UV's Christian Cage?
A match against Christian Cage would be quite the intense affair. Christian's known for his technical skills and his impressive in-ring ability, and he's always a formidable opponent. If we were pitted against each other, the match would be a showcase of our skills both in the ring and on the mic. We're both talented talkers, and I know the build-up to the match would be just as entertaining as the match itself. It would be a match that fans of wrestling would be talking about for weeks.
What type of match?
Barbed wire steel cage match would be the epitome of intensity and danger. The barbed wire wrapped around the steel cage, we would have to avoid the wire while also trying to get out of the cage. It would be a test of both physical and mental toughness, as well as strategy. We would have to push our bodies to the limit in order to overcome the challenges that the barbed wire steel cage presented. It would be a gritty, hard-hitting match, and the energy from the crowd would be off the charts.
UV's Jack Perry?
A match against Jack Perry would be an exciting one. We have very different styles, which would make for an interesting matchup. He's fast and agile, and I'm more power-based, so it would be a battle of speed and strength. We'd have to go all out and bring our A game if we wanted to come out on top. It would be a match of opposites, but that's what makes it so intriguing.
What type of match?
I think a Hell in the Cell match would be the perfect way to settle things between me and Jack Perry. It would be a brutal and intense match, both of us fighting for dominance. The Hell in the Cell match would put our fighting styles to the test. It's high-risk environment and no-holds-barred approach. It would be a battle of determination and resilience, with the stakes higher than ever before. This match would go down in the annals of wrestling history as a clash of skill and will.
UV's the Redwood Big Bill?
Match against the Redwood Big Bill would be a truly colossal encounter. Big Bill is huge, and his size alone is an imposing presence in the ring. I'd have to bring all my strength, resilience, and determination to the ring if I wanted to take on this giant. It would be a physically demanding match, with both of us trying to overpower each other and prove who's the stronger wrestler. It would be a battle for dominance in the ring, where the size difference would be a significant factor.
What type of match?
TLC match would best showcase the power and intensity of a match between me and Big Bill. A TLC match features tables, ladders, and chairs, and it requires a high level of strength, agility, and strategy. Big Bill is a force to be reckoned with. The addition of the TLC elements would make the match even more unpredictable. We'd be using all the weapons in the ring to our advantage, and the challenge would be trying to adapt to the ever-changing circumstances. It would be a match of epic proportions, with the outcome uncertain until the last bell.
UV's Billy Gunn?
A match against Billy Gunn would be explosive and full of energy. Billy Gunn is known for his powerful moves and high-flying maneuvers, and that would make for an exciting matchup. I'd have to bring my own powerful moves and quick reflexes to keep up with him. We'd be constantly trying to outmaneuver each other, making for a chaotic match with plenty of close calls. It would be a thrill for both the fans in the ring and those watching at home.
What type of match?
First Blood match against Billy Gunn would add an extra layer of intensity to our match. The First Blood stipulation would make the match even more suspenseful, as we would have to fight even harder to avoid getting cut. We'd both be trying to avoid getting hit, while at the same time trying to out-wrestle each other. It would be a match of careful planning and quick reflexes, with the winner being the one who avoids getting cut until the end.
UV's Bishop Khan?
A match against Bishop Khan would be a unique and challenging experience. Khan is a unique character, and he brings a lot of energy and unpredictability to the ring. I would have to be prepared for anything, as Khan's style is not something I've faced before. It would be a test of my adaptation skills, as I'd have to be prepared for Khan's unexpected moves. It would be a battle of mental and physical strength, both of us trying to come out on top.
What type of match?
No DQ match against Bishop Khan would be a violent and intense battle. With no disqualification in effect, Khan would be free to use any moves he wanted, which would add an extra element of unpredictability to the match. We'd both be pushing our limits and going all out, with no holds barred. I'd have to be prepared for anything, as Khan would not be holding back. It would be a test of resilience and determination. The match would be a showcase of the most brutal moves in our arsenal.
UV's Bryan Danielson of a rematch.
A rematch against Bryan Danielson would be an unforgettable experience. Bryan Danielson is a highly talented wrestler, and a rematch would be a true battle of skill and determination. We faced each other before, and we know each other's strengths and weaknesses, which means an even more intense match this time around. I'd have to bring my all to the ring, knowing that Bryan is a worthy opponent. It would be a high-stakes match, with the winner being hailed as the superior wrestler.
What type of match?
A tables match would be the perfect way to settle things between me and Bryan Danielson. A tables match adds an extra element of excitement to the matchup. The goal is to get your opponent to go through a table. The match would be physical, both of us trying to throw each other through tables as quickly as possible. It would be a fight to the end, with the winner being the one who can outmaneuver and out-wrestle their opponent.
UV's Buddy Matthews.
A match against Buddy Matthews would be a fast-paced and intense affair. Matthews is a talented wrestler and he brings a lot of energy into the ring. I'd have to be on my toes and ready to respond to his quick moves. It would be a match of quickness and strategy, with both of us working hard to gain the upper hand. We'd be trying our best to score a pinfall, and the match would be a true test of our skills.
What type of match?
A street fight would be the perfect type of match for a battle against Buddy Matthews. A street fight allows for anything to happen, including the use of weapons and outside interference. It would be a physical and chaotic match, with both of us trying to gain the upper hand by any means necessary. We'd be battling it out in the ring, and perhaps even outside of the ring, with the winner being the one who can score a pinfall, or submission. It would be a tough fight, with the winner being the one who can endure until the very end.
UV's Chris Jericho.
A match against Chris Jericho would be a battle between myself and one of the most accomplished and experienced wrestlers in the business. Jericho is a former world champion and a master of storytelling in the ring. I would have to be at the top of my game to face him. It would be a battle of skill and determination, with both of us bringing our best to the ring. We would fight hard to come out on top, and the winner would be hailed as the superior competitor.
UV's Claudio Castagnoli.
A match against Claudio Castagnoli would be a thrilling and hard-fought one. Claudio is an experienced and talented wrestler, and he's known for his technical skills and impressive moves. I'd have to be ready for anything, as Claudio is a formidable opponent. It would be a physical match, with both of us fighting hard to come out on top. We would push each other to the limit and beyond, with the winner being the one who can outlast and outmaneuver their opponent, and it would go down in the annals of wrestling.
What type of match?
A lumberjack match would add an extra element to the match. A group of lumberjacks surrounding the ring. These lumberjacks would be free to get involved in the match whenever they wanted, which would add an extra element of unpredictability to the match. I would have to be prepared for anything, as the lumberjacks could potentially aid me or my opponent at any moment. It would be a battle not only between me and Claudio, but also between the lumberjacks and us in the ring.
UV's Dante Martin.
A match against Dante Martin would be a fun one. Dante is fast and agile, and brings a lot of energy to the ring. I would have to be quick on my feet and use strategy to keep up with him. It would be a high energy match, with both of us trying to get the upper hand in the ring. We would be flying all over the place, with our movements being unpredictable and quick. It would be a true test of agility and resilience. The winner would be the one who comes out on top in the end.
What type of match?
I think a ladder match would be the best type of match for a battle against Dante Martin. A ladder match is all about agility and strategy, as the objective is to grab a briefcase hanging above the ring. There would be tons of jumping and climbing involved, and both of us would be working hard to get the briefcase. It would be a physical and fast-paced match, with both participants determined to get the briefcase by any means necessary. It would be a difficult match, but a thrilling one, with the winner being the one who can get the briefcase first.
What if won the championship? What's your plan?
If I won the AEW World Championship, my plan would be to defend the title with everything that I have against the top wrestlers in the company. I have fought many different styles and different opponents throughout my career. I can show the locker room that I am the best in the AEW locker room, and I will defend the AEW World title against the top wrestlers in AEW. You can't be a true champion if you don't push yourself against the best of the best, so I will be more than prepared for whoever gets in my way.
UV's Brody King of the champion?
A battle against Brody King would be an interesting one. I have seen this guy compete, and I cannot underestimate him, as he is one of the deadliest competitors of the AEW locker room. A good matchup for me and him to face off would be a no-holds-barred match, as this match has no rules or limit, and both of us can do anything to each other to get the victory. I would do everything to get him down for a 3 count and prove that I can keep up with the best of the best in the locker room.
Who like to date on a you of a storyline?
If I had to choose one competitor that I would like to have a storyline with a romantic interest, then I would most likely choose Toni Storm. I just feel that this would be a great storyline for a romantic affair, especially with me being the world champion and her having more of a tough girl personality.
Thanks for coming, Ted. You can see whatever you want.
It's my pleasure. You know, I like your approach. Ask me whatever you want. I'm an open book.